Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines. Dude, whenever I open up this city, I'm gonna be honest, it's like a wave of euphoria hits my brain. Because it's so good. It's so good. We got money in the bank. You know, I mean, maybe not the most, not maybe not laid out in the best fashion or design possible, but it looks pretty good anyway. You know, we've got a functional city here, and I'm really happy with it, like very happy with it. And I mean, over here, like even by the highway, the traffic isn't that bad, which is awesome because you know, I think we had like in that last city we were doing, we had a smaller population, and the traffic was so much worse than it is here. And I don't know what I did differently. You know, I did let people like get on, or that's not what I meant. I did like give people multiple ways to get to different places, but did I ever give like this side of the highway a way to get off and get to this other side? I don't think I ever did. Huh. Well, I should do that, huh? Yeah. Alright, I totally thought I did that at some point. Maybe I was planning to, but I forgot. But we can, I mean, we can throw that in, like... Really? It's not even that tall. Look. There's nothing wrong with the way that I have this. Oh, I see. You don't like getting rid of the pillars, huh? I mean, that just seems like such a sharp turn, but... Alright, fine. I don't know if people will use this exit anyway. Because, it doesn't get them to the central area of the industry district right away. That's how traffic operates in this game. You know, they just, like, if you put an exit over here that would make it easier for them to get to where they want to go, that's not the point. The point is for them to be able to take a route that gets them to where they want to be once they're over in this area, you know, once they're actually there, you know. Time doesn't matter to them. How quickly they get to a place does not matter to them. Thank you, Windows, for letting me know I'm offline. Dude, I gotta move those network boosters, because they do not work. Well, they do work, but they need moved to a different place. Also, yeah. All of them are probably lining up to get in here so that they can turn this way and then go over this way. Which is idiotic, because they could just take this exit right here and get to where they need to go. And some people actually do that, but not many. I mean, the solution is right there. Oh, we had a major lag spike there, but... Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it anymore. Because there's nothing I can do to fix the traffic AI, you know. And it's not terrible. The AI isn't terrible. It's just they make some stupid decisions, you know. Like we all do in life. We all make dumb decisions. I made the decision to eat McDonald's and Taco Bell yesterday at 2 separate times. I am perfectly capable of making really stupid decisions. And I will continue to do so, probably for as long as I live. As will everyone else. Alright, I guess we can keep the alternating theme going here. So I think that would work best with the demand. Wait. Wait, I don't have water in there. There we go. God damn it. This place went abandoned over here? It doesn't matter, but still. Alright, do they... You all have access to public services? I'm pretty sure I took care of that earlier, but yeah, I did, pretty much. I mean, once we get down here, we'll need more. Again, the issue with having... You know, with building like this is that, but... Nothing I can really do, you know. Kinda just gotta roll with it. I don't have a whole lot of parks, like individual parks spread out throughout the city either, but I don't think it's really mattered all that much because the land value has been pretty high consistently everywhere. It is something that kind of nags me, but like in the back of my mind, but I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. I think we'll be fine. Let's see, how do I want to make this work? Let's see, if you do something like that, it's kind of effective. Little bit. Alright, once again, we're pretty even across the board here. In terms of what people want built. But, you know, it is nice to build these suburban areas throughout here. Because it reminds me a lot of, you know, essentially where I've lived and I've grown up all my life. Although granted, I've spent more time living in rural areas than actual suburban areas, I think, but like I live in a rural area right now, you know. But the next town over is much more suburban. So it kind of reminds me of that, you know. I don't think I could ever live in the city without having a good group of people I know in that city that I could be around. Because there's something about living in a suburban area or a rural town or anything of the sort that feels very communal and feels very homey to me, and I don't know if I could ever break away from that. But obviously we'll see. You know, I mean, people's preferences change all the time. Mine will change as well. In fact, I know they will. It's just really a matter of when, you know, but it's just interesting to think about, I think, but I won't bore you with that discussion anymore, because, I don't know, it isn't even really that much of an introspective topic. It's just like, you know, a personal preference kind of thing, but anyway. Howard Green away? Howard Greenaway. Okay. I see that we're See that we're struggling to come up with names a little bit here. You can take that area. We'll keep going here. We're probably going to need to start expanding here, like in terms of making sure that we get our city services up and going. We'll build the high school right there. Even though we really didn't need to, actually, but it's fine. It's there now. I'm not going to get rid of it. And then we'll need some kind of hospital. Why don't we put in the Ham Hospital? We could do with that. Oh, it just barely doesn't fit. It's just barely too big. I think you gotta go with something that's a little bit on the smaller end. There's that. Throw in the fire station. Okay. Cool. You got a lot more students this year, which is nice. Okay. Throw in a fire station, and we'll throw in a police station as well. There we go. Beautiful. So now all of that is taken care of. And these people can feel safe knowing that their city is protected. I guess. I mean, I could build a road along the back here. I don't really think it serves any purpose, but... I mean, I guess we could do that. Hang on, before you guys start zoning anything, let me fix this. Okay, there we go. Okay, I don't even know if this was this probably wasn't a good idea building it like that, but I think having a little bit of road diversity mixed in with all the grid patterns helps, even if it isn't efficient. So, there you go. You guys can build all along here. Actually, don't take that back. Don't build here, because you're just going to build those one-by-one buildings that annoy the shit out of me. And I would prefer that those don't get built there, so. You guys can have at it, though. Ah, shit. There we go. Send it out a little bit. I don't want to get too carried away with the districts here, because, well, I want to make it easy for myself when I choose to remap them. I was listening to some Eminem earlier, and now it's stuck in my head. Yeah. All right. I enjoy artists from the early 2000s. Whoa. Let's all take it easy here for a second, okay? I know it's popular to shit on early 2000s music, but nobody should be shitting on Eminem for one thing, but, you know, I mean, like, I think it's just, idiotic to kind of take a dump all over a certain era of music based on, you know, one particular genre that was bad during that time, or some songs that were popular at the time that were bad, you know. I think people because I don't know, you know, a lot of Twitter, well, not a lot of Twitter, but a lot of Twitter, Reddit, etc., you know, features a lot of millennials and whatnot that grew up in the early 2000s, like the primes of their childhoods were in the early 2000s, and you know, so they kind of have this, like, not this resentment, this kind of like looking back on their childhood and being like, oh, what I listened to was so edgy and bad, you know. And they'll you know, they'll take everything they liked in their teenage years or in their childhood years and kind of, you know, flush it down the toilet because they think it's bad, you know, or they think it's overly edgy or something like that. And don't get me wrong, a lot of early 2000s music is overly edgy, but even then that doesn't make it bad, you know, like not all of it is bad. You know, you can make fun of it for being edgy, but I think that people kind of over-exaggerate how bad certain music is, you know. I think people really play it up because, you know, that's what they listened to when they were teenagers, you know, and they feel the need to break away from it or something. I don't know. I just think it's kind of ridiculous, but that's my opinion. It's like, it's a weird thing to get caught up over too, because, like, you know, at the same time, I can look at music that was put out in the early 2000s and I can be like, wow, that is really edgy, you know, that is really and you know, and it's cringy to a certain extent, you know, and I can look at it and look at music like that, like from that era, and think that, and, you know, and understand where people are coming from. But at the same time, I get overly defensive, or I feel the need to get overly defensive about that era in particular of music. And I think it's because a lot of my tastes kind of come from that era, because I did grow up in that area, or not area, era. I did grow up during that time period, you know, and I adopted a lot of my music tastes from that time period. A lot of the music tastes that I have now are from, you know, are based off of what I listened to during that time, you know. So I think that's probably why I feel the need to get so defensive about it, you know, because it just feels like people are taking a shit all over what I enjoy, but which isn't really even the case. It's, you know, because nobody ever really shits on one band in particular, I think, or one artist in particular or anything like that. It's mainly like just like lumping everything in together and kind of categorizing it that way. That's what I've noticed anyway. And then you have the few bands that just cannot escape the specific insulting and whatnot. You know, you've got your Creeds, you've got your Papa Roaches, you've got your Limp Bizkits, Korn, even to a certain extent. Who else? Evanescence. Used to be that way with Linkin Park too, to a certain extent, which made me mad. Because, you know, for those of you that don't know, Linkin Park is my favorite band of all time. That's kind of gone away, you know, ever since Chester died. But, you know, they were kind of there too, you know, but not to the extent that some of these other bands were. Because I think people actually still, well, like, based on what I've read and everything, you know, all these Reddit threads or whatever that talk about early 2000s music, even before Chester died, there were a lot of people that were like, oh yeah, Hybrid Theory and Meteora were my shit, you know, those albums are so good, you know. So nobody was sitting here like yeah, you know, nothing they've put out is any good. You know, kind of like how people talk about some of these other bands like Evanescence and whatnot. You know, so they were never really in that category. It still made me mad regardless, but I'm a fanboy. What can I say? I can admit to it, and I can live with it. Sometimes if you go into the Linkin Park subreddit, there are these people that are like, they are so hell-bent on defending the band to the end of the earth, for one thing. And they also lack self-awareness. You know, some of them do, not all of them. You know, and it's just like, I get it. You love the band. I love the band too. Don't get me wrong. And I defend the band as well when I feel it's necessary. But, I mean, these guys aren't gods. You know, they're not perfect people. You know, and to kind of put them on that pedestal is a dangerous thing to do. And I think that happens with just about any popular artist. You know, people kind of put them on a pedestal because they like them so much, you know. Happens with celebrities in general as well. And it's a dangerous thing to do because it can really alter your perspective on things and kind of taint it, you know. So if this celebrity that you really love and you put on a pedestal does something bad, you're unable to recognize it, you know. It's kind of like the whole thing with Chris Brown and Drake, you know. Like, I mean, they both are shitheads for different reasons, but, you know, their fan bases refuse to recognize it because they love those guys so much and they put them up on a pedestal, you know. And when you're unable to recognize that, hey, maybe the guy you love so much is an asshole, you know, if you're unable to recognize it, then, you know, he'll never be punished to the extent that he should be for what he's done, you know. And I hate Chris Brown 10 times more than I hate Drake, you know, for being a shithead. But, you know, this is a weird topic to get into, or it was a weird topic to get into. I don't even know how we got to this point, but, I mean, like, I had to, it's not like I was necessarily looking for something to talk about, but I had to have something to talk about because we're really doing the same thing here until we reach here, and then we kind of, what the? Excuse me, what is this? What is this thing right here? Is this a marble set? Dude, I don't know what that is, but that's kind of creepy, actually. But, I don't know. I mean, we're essentially doing the same thing. And we're going to keep doing the same thing until we reach here, and then we kind of move over here. But, so, having something other than city skylines to talk about is good, regardless of what that topic is. You know, and we ended up landing on Chris Brown and Drake. And hopefully I didn't make anybody upset with what I said, even though I will stand by what I said 100% of the way. Because all you have to do is take a look at what Chris Brown has done. You know, and if you're going to support that, you know, I won't go any further, but all right, there we go. There we go. Beautiful. take this the rest of the way, and we'll send it up here, we'll send it right there, and we'll do that, and we should do a little bit of this too, and there we go, and then cover the district, and then we can start zoning and talk about something a little more lighthearted, maybe, hopefully. Ah, fuck. My eyes. Was I gonna... I feel like I'm missing something. Like there was something I was supposed to do this episode that I have forgotten about. Am I missing something? Am I forgetting something that I brought up in the last episode that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it next episode, and then I completely forgot? I don't know. See, this is why I think that games like Cities Skylines are more cut out for streaming than they are, you know, this episodic format. Because, you know, you're just with the game, you know, for a few hours, and it's all that's on your mind, really, you know. Now, granted, there are different ways I could approach to different ways of approaching recording this this series that I could implement, you know, because I kind of, the way I do it is that I record one episode and then I go and do something else, you know. I don't sit and record the same thing over and over, you know, or the same game over and over, you know. And that's probably why I lose my train of thought on these certain things. But, you know, I mean, it's just, I can't I can't focus enough on one game, which is why I think maybe I'm not cut out for streaming, but I'm probably going to end up giving it a shot at some point anyway. You know, but I know that recording this game back to back would help me kind of develop a better understanding of where I am and what I intended to do, you know, in the future and whatnot. But it's just like I don't know. I have a short attention span, you know. Now, granted, I do think I could sit here and play this game for a few hours at a time. I don't think I would have any problem with that, actually. I think the issue is that I have to commentate as well, which can get pretty exhausting when you're recording the same thing back to back to back, you know. It's just my 2 cents on it, though, anyway. Obviously, like, I'm open to changing how I approach things because, you know, you have to be, you know. I think when you're doing anything, you got to be open to changing how you do it, you know, if it's going to make you better. And so I don't know if that's something I'm going to do in the future, if I'm going to change how if I'm going to change how I do things, or... And really, it wouldn't affect the content that goes out on the channel that much at all. It's more of a back-end thing, you know. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll I don't know if I'll decide to change how I do things, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll have to think about it. Because I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with the way I do things now. I just think it's, you know, when it comes to trying to remember what I had intentions of doing in certain episodes, you know, it kind of goes out the window because my memory isn't that good, you know. I mean, my memory just isn't good, period. My short-term memory isn't good, period, because of all the caffeine I consume. If you consume too much caffeine regularly, you know, you start to ruin your short-term memory. And I very much have noticed that at this point. You know, there are just certain things I'll forget for no reason, you know, and I know that happens to everybody, but it's, you know, it definitely happens to me, I think, more often than it should, or more often than is normal. So. See, these office buildings are too big. I didn't want it like this. But it's fine. It's alright. It doesn't look terrible. It's just kind of jarring to go from these taller office buildings to these suburban homes, but it's not that big of a difference, I think. And in fact, if I put some businesses here, I think it'll kind of blend a little bit better. We have so much money, I could do whatever I wanted with it. I've got so much money, I could do whatever I want with it. I mean, I could build the ChirpX launch site if I wanted. Could build the statue of Colossalus. The Modern Art Museum. A stadium. None of these things are actually that expensive. Well, these things are more expensive. Holy shit. $1.5 million for a space elevator. Oops, sorry, that was my phone. I dropped it because I picked it up. Where's like the international airport? Because I know that you can build one like in your city, I think. Right? Is it just under transportation? It is. International Airport. With 2 runways, 11 terminals, and readiness to connect directly to a subway network, can handle much more traffic than a conventional airport. The airports kind of suck in this game, to be honest. I remember them not being all that great. They're kind of like not adequate, you know? They're not realistic anyway, because normal international airports have a lot more to them than that, you know? But that's being nitpicky, and I can always download an asset or something, because that'll probably, those will probably look better anyway, you know? But we'll see. I'll look into it. I mean, I'm not even considering building an airport right now, although it might work out nicely to have it over here. Not really sure, though. I'd have to think about it. But, you know what? I think we're going to end this episode here. I'm pretty sure I've been going on for a while. We've got some of these issues popping up. Like, of people getting sick. Even though I have a hospital right here. You know, death care. I didn't take care of that, so I should probably make sure that people have access. Yeah. Yeah, that was my bad. That was an oversight on my part. Can you... I just want you to face this way. There we go. Because I don't want it to face the... face in the direction of a residential building. Alright, there we go. And then some of these businesses are going abandoned for the same reason they've been going abandoned the whole time. They either don't have enough workers or they don't have enough customers, and I don't know what to do about that, okay, because it's not my fault. You know, just like, I don't know, figure it out. There are plenty of people in the city. It isn't my fault that you can't tap into this pool of people. But anyway, with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this episode of City Skylines, let me know down in the comment section below. Like the video and share with your friends. Let me know you want to see more of any game series I do here on the channel. The link down to the game is in the description box below if you want to pick it up for yourself. Subscribe to my channel for more gaming content. I play all sorts of games on my channel. Thank you guys very much for tuning in, and I will talk to you later.